Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very late, some would say almost midnight episode of HotFix,
Right.
which is our
I've been
laser-focused...
No.
Go on, son, do it.
Stop.
Do it. Quick,
I was
Video game discussion show. Carry on, sir.
yeah, I was going to say I've been alive since 5 o'clock this morning, but I've been alive for the last 28 years. That would be a lie. I've been awake since 5 o'clock this morning. Now it is like 10 o'clock, basically. I too many hours. Is that like 15 hours awake? Look at my face. Now, before I go into my little story, would you like to do the Patreon thing? Did you do it?
Yes. As always, HotFix is funded via Patreon, which we are very much appreciative of. If you would like to help us by supporting HotFix, then you can click the link up there. By the way, I'm going to be honest here. I look like I've got liver failure on my main camera, which is one I use for HotFix. This is because it's dark, because it's really late whilst we're recording this, and I don't have white lights, I have yellow lights, which is why I look like I'm about to die. It looks like I've got alcohol poisoning. I actually don't have alcohol poisoning, although I am drinking cider.
Are you Kirioth Simpson? Anyway,
just look a bit like that. And you can also support us by clicking the link down there. There's a linky there, link there. We don't have any names to announce this week because no one has supported us between. Well, no new supporters have arrived between last week and this week. So next week the show won't be late. It is in fact cancelled. So that's nice. That's
heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. That's all over. No, I'm going to change the patron in the next maybe 2 weeks or so. The other patrons as well, reinvigorate them. Maybe give a little bit more, I don't know, incentive or something to you guys. But obviously we do. All the support you guys give us who are patrons make the show happen. So it's beautiful that you do it. Just get your granny to come and support us as well. Right, back to my tale.
Go for it.
I woke up this morning. Now, I've told people on the stream before, when I've been streaming, when they asked me, I don't even know how I got around to this conversation topic, but there is a guy who insists on revving the shit out of his massive motorbike. It isn't like a super bike. It's like it isn't like a Harley Davidson. I'm not up on my motorbikes, but I'd say it's like a Harley Davidson style of bike,
is
like
it a Honda
commuter.
Brightwing? I think that's the thing. I think Honda do some sort of motorcycle.
It looks like a classic bike. You know, it looks like a bike like from the 70s or something. It doesn't look like a plasticated 300-mile-an-hour super bike from Japan. It looks like something from America that you put a shitload of fuel in, or like a Triumph bike. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Look anything like?
Go on, link me up.
Like that. Is it that kind of thing? Because that's the only thing I can think of. That's
no. It's got like big chrome exhausts and shit coming out of it.
Oh lord,
it looks quite good. Anyway, the guy wakes up at about half. Well, he don't wake up at 4:30. He's going to work at 4:30, and this is how he. This is his start procedure. 4:30 in the morning, and it's like, and then it is old Stylosa like this.
With his headset on, because that's the only way he can get
And then
sleep.
I open my eyes and I just hear it go away in the distance, and then that's it. I can't wake up again. I'm like, but it's okay because McGee gets dropped off here early in the morning. Usually, I'm still in sleep. I'm still in bed. I need to be in sleep now. And they just open the door, chuck her in, and that's great, right? She gets dropped about 7:30. Yeah. I usually get up about 9 o'clock because I'm a man of means, or 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. McGee, she has an hour of downtime. Not today, though, because she gets dropped off with a thorn in her eye. Right, in her eye.
It sounds
and I was
rough.
like... So it was a bit random that I was awake. Like, quite rare that I'd be downstairs at that time, sort of thing. Anyway, come through the door, and they're like, Sky's got something in her eye. And I looked at her eye, and I'm like, yes, this is quite evident, because her eye is juicing something ridiculous. And there's like loads of discharge or something. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. Let me have a look with I hilariously, because Mr. Kirioth told me about this the other day, the phone LED light, I turned it on, she beamed it into her eye to have a look. And I'm like, right, there's something in the eye. And I took a closer look, and you could see it wasn't a full thorn, but it was like, maybe half a centimeter.
The end off a thorn, the really sharp bit.
In. And I was like, needs to go to the vets. Now, obviously, there is no vets open at this time in the morning because it was like, I say about 7:10 or something at this point.
You say that.
Well,
I'll tell you about my wife's fucking work day yesterday after this.
Well, for normal people to go to. Right. So anyway, we got hold of the vets in the local town. We went there. well, I went there because obviously they had to go to work. I got the appointment for 10:20. So I'm sitting all morning with McGee on me going, it's all right, Chunk, you okay? And she's like, I mean, she wasn't in pain, but she probably was in pain, but she wasn't like crying or anything. She was just like irritated. And I just had to get, you know what dogs are like? I mean, you put cones on them, don't you, to stop them fidgeting with the bloody space and whatever they do. Anyway, took her down to the vets. McGee's like, what's going on? Like, this is all new to me. Am I going on a new walk? And she's getting quite happy. Yeah, I mean, you know what McGee's like. She's happy off the lead and she's just walking around and it's great. We get down to the town and I shit you not, it was just something straight out of like a cartoon. I opened the door to the vets and she just wouldn't go in. She was backing off like, no. Now she's never been in there before. I'm like, anyway, I pulled her in. There's nobody in there because it was the first appointment of the day. And I'm thinking, these fucking vets, they open at like 10:20. First appointment of the day. What? This is worse than the fucking YouTuber. This is. Anyway, I go in, and I says, "Hello, I've got Sky." And they went, "Oh yes, with something in the eye. A foreign body suspected in the eye." I'm like, "Yes,
foreign body.
It's not suspected. It's in the eye." I mean, she's going like this. So I sit down. I wait. A Jack Russell comes through the door. This old fuck Jack Russell. He was 17 years old, and he just was fucked. And I was like. And then a Scotty dog came through. He was ancient, but he had a problem because he kept biting his own tongue and he had to keep stitching it or something. And the owner's telling me, and I'm thinking, quite frankly, mate, I don't care, you dickhead, fuck off. McGee is getting really frightened, right? She's sitting on me and she's burying her head like into me. And every now and again she'd go,
no.
And I'm like, it's okay, Sky. She's getting worried, like, I mean, she's not worried for the other dogs because she's like, what's going on, like, sort of thing. Then I take her through to the vet. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The vet is like, oh, hello. So what's the problem today? And to be fair, the vet was quite good as well. I said, oh, she's got something in her eye. I think it's a thorn. He went, oh. Yeah, put her up here. So I didn't put her there. I just went, here. And she just jumps up onto the vet thing. I'm like, that's right. Sit down, McGee. He gets her eye. He goes, which one is it? And I'm thinking, which one is it? She's going, ah. Well, she didn't one eye, like, quite obvious which one it is. I held her head. He opened her eye. He put in some eye drop, like, we've had this done, ain't we, at the fucking opticians. He put some like crazed green shit in her eye, looking into her eye, and you could clearly see there's something in the eye. He stopped and he looked at me and he said, okay, what I'm going to do now for you, sir, is write out an admissions form and you need to immediately take her to the veterinary hospital. And I was like, right. He said, let me just show you what's going on. So he got a piece of paper out and he started drawing on it. And he said, this is a dog's eye. A dog's eye has got 3 layers on the front, he said. Now, it's a protective layer. Like humans don't have this. Dogs do because they've got 3 eyelids as well. Dogs. But anyway, he said, if it's in the 3 layers, all right, just penetrated those, it's okay. It can be taken out. But I can't tell here because I don't have the equipment, right? We need like crazed cameras and whatever. He never said crazed, but you know what I mean. Then he said, however, if it's gone into the eye, it now acts like a plug in a balloon. And if it pops out, the eye will violently decompress and just collapse. And I was like, right. And like, literally, as he's saying this to me, you know how dogs go, McGee's doing that. And I'm like, whoa, don't do that. Your fucking eye's going to explode. And I was like, right. So the hospital then. And he's like, yep. So I walk back, get the car, drive to the hospital, walk in. I don't like the hospital because the last time I was there was when Penny got put down and it was the same fucking place, the admissions desk. I'm like to the entrance to the ward bit. I walk in, I'm like, I got the thing for McGee. McGee thinks she's going on an amazing trip because to get to this hospital, you have to drive through loads of like forest, like a shitload of forest. McGee's sitting in the front of the car looking around like, wow, what's going on here? I'm thinking, you ain't going to like what's going on here, McGee. I pull up. Obviously, she's never been to the veterinary hospital before. I pull up, get her out. She's like all inquisitive, like, oh, new place to go on a walk. I walked towards I had a blanket, and you know Mr. T, don't you? The little yeah. That's a favourite thing. I had a blanket and a Mr. T. I walk to the admissions thing. Give the woman my form. I'm like, I brought Sky, and she's like, oh yes, foreign body in the eye. I'm like, yeah. The nurse had a look and went, oh yes, yeah. What we'll do is we'll take her through and we'll make her comfortable. We'll sedate her and we'll look at her right away. Like, okay. I was told it was urgent. He said yes. McGee's just sitting there oblivious, like she just don't care. She's like more interested in what's going on with the dogs. As soon as the veterinary nurse took the lead off me, McGee's like, and I'm like, McGee, it's okay. And like I'm trying to back out the door, and McGee's like trying to get towards me. I'm like, McGee, calm down. And then I thought the only thing I can do here is just walk away because McGee's just gonna be fucking
yeah.
So I just went, see you later, Sky, and walked off. And I turned around and I just seen like a hind legs go into the ward, and I thought, whatever, McGee, there you go. It turns out anyway, after all of this palaver, basically what happened is they just sedated her because obviously what they were going to do is just sedate her, look into her eye and see if it had actually penetrated into the eye. Because if it had, then she'd have to be referred to a specialist canine optical surgeon. And they were like, this is going to be like $2,500 or something ridiculous, they were saying, to get fixed. Because the eyeball would have to be stitched.
Although pet insurance would cover that, I'm sure it would.
Yeah, it must have done. But the vet was like, you need to understand. And I'm thinking, I ain't paying. I understand.
Yeah. You know what, there's a lot of people who don't, though. They don't insure the dog, and then the dog gets into an accident, and the vet's like, that's like £2,000. And they're just like, oh, we can't afford that. Well, should have got insurance then, shouldn't you? Sorry, but...
Yeah, well, so... Luckily, it didn't go through her eye, and all they did was they sedated her, looked at her eye, realised it hadn't gone in, and the vet said to me, all we did was we got a cotton bud and we just rolled it across her eye, and the cotton bud gripped it and just peeled it out, and that was it. And when, like, obviously she was in recovery then for a couple of hours, and when I went and got her back, she was just pissed up, like, all sedated and shit, but her eyes were totally fine. It was like, well, okay, you got off lucky, McGee.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me today, and that's why Hotfix was not recorded, because the whole fucking day was taken up with McGee, with loads of phone calls to people, explaining that I've got to do this, I've got to do that, are you prepared for this, blah, blah, blah.
It's a massive undertaking taking a pet to the vet. It really is. It's ridiculous. And yeah, you saying that the one near you isn't open, that makes me laugh because my wife's a vet nurse, and
no, it's only a little, the one near me, so it's like literally two rooms. It's like a little satellite thing.
Yeah. But it's the one that she's at is a really big vet. So I go there, I could take her there when she's on late duty. If she has to go back and, give top ups to animals or feed them or anything or check on them. And it's a massive place. She was on duty last night, which usually means getting home maybe about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Can go on until 9 sometimes. Well, she went to work at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and she came home at midnight, midnight, having had a 10-minute break. And I was like, oh, shit, okay, well, that's fine. She had something to eat, finally got to bed. Gets a call at 2:30 in the morning. Oh, we've got a dog that swallowed a small kitchen knife.
A kitchen knife? What?
So then...
I guess that's what it's like, though, isn't it, with medical? Like, because I mean, it's a medical profession, ain't it? You can't, like, if somebody's ill, somebody's ill. Tough shit, eh? It's work time, I suppose.
Yeah. But I get there till 4:30, and then I had to get up at 6:30 to go back to work for 8. But she got there. It's dead good because she got there and she was there for a couple of hours, and it was like, "What are you doing here? Go home." Oh, okay, I'll leave. That was it.
As they should, yeah. I've got this really irrational fear of like living somewhere where I'm not close to a health service. Like when I've been out on my bike, right, and I've been going to places that have not been discovered or explored by man for millennia, and I see like a house, and I'm like...
Going places where the hand of man has never set foot.
Yeah, and I go past a house, and I'm like, you're like 30 miles away from the nearest town. You're probably 80 living in that house, because no normal person would live there, because you're disconnected from society. What happens if you need an ambulance? What, are you going to wait 5 years for it to arrive?
This is how I feel when I go to my parents. Because you know where
like
they live.
It's the dark ages. Yeah, but even they're not as secluded as the places I've been to.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, what is going on?
But it's still like the closest doctor that they have is the one who comes to their church on a Sunday. And he's only close then because he's going to the church. The rest of the time, he's like 20 odd miles
away. Sounds like some sort of sitcom, the church doctor from hell. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Hotfix, laser focus podcast and gaming.
You need an explanation. You need an explanation. It's not often that Hotfix is like really,
let's
really
talk about
delayed.
Cider then. So I bought cider. I quite like this.
I like the pear one of that one.
I don't like the pear one of that one. I do like pear cider though.
The Brothers pear cider is better though. Although that is strong. I didn't know how strong that was. That's like 7%, and I didn't realise I drank like 2 of them, and I was like, oh shit.
This is 7%. Going about that.
That is delicious though. I like Caspels.
This one is the best one out of the 3 I bought, because if anybody's familiar with supermarkets in the UK, you'll know what deal this is that I went and bought. But I had a bad day.
3 for 5. 3 for 5.
It's always I had a bad day.
Co-op and Tesco both do the same exact deal. And
yeah, these were Morrison's.
It's always the same ciders.
And this one as well, Old Moot. I like that as well. I quite like fruity ciders, but every now and again, it's nice to just have a full-on, proper, not strongbow, a proper fucking drink, boy.
I
like actually the bottle
have,
as well.
I don't have the bottle because, well, why would I bring the bottle with me?
I know I'm just drinking out of bottles because I'm so ghetto. I'm just like,
I've got a pint of Thatch. Well, half a pint of Thatcher's Katie left.
Somebody screenshot this.
It looks like this. I'll show you actually on the monitor.
Send that to me on Twitter.
It looks like that. That's what Thatcher's Katie looks like. And I've got another one, which, I mean, this is only cheap, but it was like, I think it was £8 for 12 cans of this.
That's not bad, though, that's
pretty good. So
that's not bad, though. It's all right from the Bogswell ciders.
Yeah. It's not the best, but it's tasty enough. It'll do. So we ought to talk about
Destiny.
Destiny news.
What we got for Destiny news?
Well, we have this. Destiny the Taken King is breaking very specific, awkwardly worded records. Now, obviously, the Taken King just launched.
A Polygon title that made me laugh. What a state.
It happens,
I can't believe it.
It happens once in a blue moon. We've been playing quite a bit of Destiny, but we'll talk actually about Destiny itself in the podcast, because that's what the podcast is. Which is what it's for. It's late. I'm tired.
Well, we'll talk about our experiences in podcast, but we can talk about our non-direct
impressions.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been awake 15 hours and I'm drinking.
So this is what Activision has said. Activision isn't sharing hard numbers when it comes to the launch of Destiny the Taken King, but the company seems very pleased with how well the game is performing. Destiny the Taken King broke the record for the most downloaded Day 1 game in PlayStation history and set a new Day 1 franchise benchmark for both total players and peak online concurrency. You could have fooled me when we were trying to find a strike team, but there you go. Surpassing the original Destiny launch day last September, which was itself the biggest new video game franchise launch in history, the press release stated, in what may be peak press release language, which it clearly is. So let's break down these claims a bit. It didn't say the most sold Day 1 game, but the most downloaded. So digital sales were huge, which isn't surprises. What this doesn't tell us is how many people bought the game, but it hints that the game is doing very well. We also aren't told anything about performance on Microsoft's platforms, which is actually really dodgy.
Well, I know on PlayStation, Destiny's got an exclusive strike, and it's always first on PlayStation. One of the older exclusives, which I think was with one of the other DLCs, has now opened up to the Xbox. But you have a better experience playing Destiny on PS4, and it actually runs faster on PS4 as well. It doesn't drop as often frame rates. Destiny, though, is a really weird one for me because you never really see it's. You might see all these PR sales figures and shit like that, but you never really have this is the active base with Blizzard. Yeah, and wow, you get the earnings report and it's like there are 10 million players. Well, this is still Activision Blizzard. I don't get why they're not we have. Well, I guess they do, but they don't say it's weird. Destiny has to have a big audience, and I know before I've said I've based this on talking to random people at weddings who have no idea about anything, but they all play Destiny, and I'm thinking, wow.
Well, this is our sort of man on the street theory, isn't it? Where it's
I thought the man on the street played COD and FIFA, but the man on the street apparently plays Destiny as well. I never knew this.
But then again, it just kind of makes sense because it is just another FPS. I mean, I know you got the fancy stuff with the subclass and abilities and whatever, but at its core, it's just an FPS, and it's got everything that people who would.
But it's a very good console FPS, though. This is
the other thing as well. I'd imagine it's a lot of it is down to it runs better than COD. It looks better.
No, because COD's 60 FPS.
Oh, it's COD 60.
Yeah, COD though is just PvP, isn't it? This is more relaxing.
Yeah,
this is like a shitter like me, somebody who's worse at console FPS multiplayer stuff, can have a really good time in Destiny, and I'd sit there for hours and play it. It's one of those things where you can take yourself away and just play it, and there must be millions of people across the globe who are just doing that with it. I would really like to know the figures, the exact figures.
It has got the appeal of both, hasn't it? Because you can sit down and you can get a couple of mates on, and you can run strike missions to your heart's content. You can go into the Vanguard playlist, and you can just you can spend a couple of hours one evening with your mates playing the game. if you want to do the PvP thing, it's got that as well. I mean, the matches aren't as big as Call of Duty. I mean, I cannot remember what the default team size is for COD, but I think the max that I've seen on...
I think it's like 8 a side COD or something like that.
So if you're doing 6v6 in Destiny, it's not that far off. And the actual...
Destiny's got a lot of PvP modes like that, I noticed, but I really don't like the PvP in Destiny. So I played it for a bit, and I just was like, it's got loads of balance issues. You just get killed instantly. I mean, we could talk about this in podcast, but it's...
I've had the same experience. I finished leveling up today. I leveled up to 40 because I want to do a few, like, sort of, I guess, the end game, like, you know, more strikes and stuff. And sadly, the quickest way to do that is via PvP. I got the first half of level 39 doing 2 strikes, I think it was, which seemed a bit inefficient. And then I went into one PvP match, and actually I did really well for me. I think I ended up with a KD of 0.78, which doesn't sound great, but I'm really shit at FPS games, and I'm even worse at PvP, and it's on console. So, you know, what do you want from me? It's a game I'm not very good at, with a control system I'm unfamiliar with. What are you going to do? But I got the rest of the level with that, and I kind of... It's weird in that normally when you're doing really well with an FPS, with a PvP game, you're like, oh yeah, this is brilliant. I got that once, and then I died to someone with a shotgun again, and immediately I was like, no, this sucks again. I had like one brief moment where I was like, this is pretty good, and then it was just destroyed because that's...
COD and Destiny have got I was going to say all console FPS games. That's not entirely fair, but I guess Titanfall, COD, Destiny, they're obsessed with kill streaks. Killing a certain number of guys, get a massively powerful ability. Destiny's obviously got the supers, and from what I could tell, you just get wrecked by the Warlock guys at fucking Emperor Palpatine, killing everyone. I'm just
are just as bad, because as you found out, you can't be hurt, can you?
Yeah, you can just run around with a hammer.
So with my hunter, I can one-shot people with the bow. That's great, and it does area damage to people, which is great. But then a Titan runs around the corner from the other team, and he's hurling hammers at you, and you just can't hurt him back. Like you can shoot him in the head,
I'm sure that's more damage. I'm sure that's more damage than the bow as well. Because you've seen how many I can throw. I haven't even got it fully leveled up. It's stupid.
Yeah, it one-shots players straight away. I mean, the only upside is...
Let's go back to the original point, though, that, like, player base of Destiny, like, this expansion, they're saying it's done well. I mean, we call it an expansion. Really, it's just DLC, because, I mean, all they've done with it...
You know, you say that.
There isn't really that much to it, though, is there?
I don't know, because when I think of DLC, I think of, like, a couple of extra missions, maybe like...
Isn't that all it is,
Maybe a new faction. It's not, though. This is the thing. I'm level 40 now. I thought the story quests had dried up. There's still loads. There's loads more.
Still keep coming.
Yeah, they keep coming. I did another story quest because it didn't. It said it wasn't going to take very long. When I had a quick check online, I was like, maybe this helped me level. I'll have a look. And it's led on to another quest, which has led on to another quest. I've got 2 more quests as well, which are all Taken King storyline quests. And it looks like I get the feeling they're all kind of converging on when the raid gets released.
Yeah, so tomorrow that is. Well, so Friday.
It's like building up to the story of, you know, dealing with the Taken and dealing with Oryx, you know, properly, since no spoilers. But it's like, it's as much as you can spoil Destiny. But yeah, there's actually still quite a lot of content, and a lot of it is story based, and I'm still getting information. Like, I'm still getting actual proper recorded dialogue, proper explanations as to what's going on. So I think actually I would still count it as a proper expansion, because at first I did think that was another thing as well. But it seems to have the length and the depth that you'd kind of associate with like Reaper of Souls is a good parallel. It's still basically the same game, but
yeah. Well, this is like how you perceive value in a game as well. I mean, Taken King is a $60 expansion. It's a £49 game in the UK if you went and pick that up. Obviously, you'd have to buy Destiny as well, because you don't get it. It's just expand. It's just late. You have to own the game, then own the other expansions, then buy that. You can't just buy the Taken King, although they probably do packs or something that you can buy. It's expensive, and it's just as expensive, if not more expensive than like an MMO subscription every month, because it really is an MMO subscription. But you know what? I think it's worth it. Even though I just said I don't think there's that much content, or it didn't seem to be to me. I mean, I think I've explored, like, I'm not level 40. You know where I've played to, but I think I've seen most, like 99% of the new areas.
Well, you see,
I
this
don't
is
think
the
I'm
other
going to
thing as
see
well.
newer areas, am I?
It's like no. I'm into
It's just the
recycled
same
areas.
stuff.
I'm into stuff that we've already done with these new quests. But if you look at like I say the Destiny subreddit, I'd say it's biased towards it, but in a way it's not, because like as with a lot of games, its biggest fans are also its harshest critics. So when you when you look at it, it's like normally when you go to the Destiny subreddit, it is, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. What the fuck is this? Bungie, why don't you balance this? This is still broken. What the fuck is going on? Why is this so expensive? Oh, you're cheaping us out of a game, etc., etc. By the look of it, there's nothing of that going on. It's like there's the odd bug report, yeah, and people going, oh well, I thought I was supposed to receive this for doing this quest, but the rest of it is like, okay, so I've reached level 40. I've played for like 10 hours, and I'm still finding new quests, and I'm still finding new content. There are people who've just gone straight into like strike playlists because that's what they like doing. And they're basically saying that, you know how when we did strikes before, it was like you go in and you fight the guy, and then it'll put you in the same map 2 rounds later, and you fight exactly the same guy. It's really boring. They're saying that the actual boss encounters of the strikes are like randomized, so you don't know what you're going to get. You might go in one day and get a boss that you had yesterday, or you could get something you've not seen before, like someone from one of the old expansions or from the base game that's been tweaked and it's turned up and it's got new mechanics, and you're like, oh, holy shit, how do I deal with this? I think they
very similar comparisons can be made with what happened with Reaper of Souls, can't it? Really?
Yeah. I think they've done a Diablo 3, and it's like a mix of new story, which I think Destiny definitely needed because the story was so vague and crappy to begin with. I mean, it's still very generic. It's not very imaginative now, but at least it's explained, and at least
it's typical sci-fi video game shit now.
It's sci-fi fantasy, ain't it? It's like a cross between like.
It's very basic, isn't it? That it's like the thing is though, you just laugh at it and you say, oh, it's basic and whatever. You don't hate on it. Like with Destiny in its original form, it was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Hello, I'm very vaguely named man in very vaguely named area.
Yeah.
What was it? Hail Guardian or whatever, and that would be it. That was all they ever say.
And the whole "there's no time to explain" thing, which became such a massive meme. Whereas now, not only is there time to explain, but it is explained in detail. It's like you keep getting Grimoire cards and stuff. For once, you don't actually have to read them if you want to know what's going on, because Nolan North will actually tell you. Whereas Dinklebot would just not say a damn word. It would just be like, "Oh, there's more Hive." Oh, well, brilliant. What the fuck are they doing here? Not supposed to be here.
Awoken the Hive.
You've awoken the Hive. As an expansion goes, I think it's pretty good. But I think it is very much in the same style as Diablo 3. It's like, it's a mix of...
It is now an FPS Diablo 3 completely. Like before, I'd be like, oh, a bit of Borderlands, bit of Diablo 3, almost like a PvE dungeon crawling MMO style thing. But now it is just Diablo 3 to me, honestly.
Yeah.
You just run around, shoot stuff. I mean, when you kill bosses in strikes, they always drop loot now.
Yeah, I really like that.
And that's just a simple thing, because it's so deflating to kill a boss and nothing happens. Kill a boss and he spews out some loot.
And the other thing as well is, it was pointed out by someone, again, because I was reading up on this in preparation for Hotfix earlier, and it's like, someone pointed out that, well, you still got the loot before, because, like, in the expansions anyway, not in the base game as far as I remember, in the expansions, you did get the loot, because when you got the screen up at the end, it was like, here's your engram, here's your gun, or here's your engram, here's your whatever the combination is, maybe some crafting materials, whatever. And they were like, and someone actually said it's so good they now drop loot, and someone was like, yeah, but they always drop loot. For the last 2 expansions they've dropped loot. It's just appeared. It's just been there. And the guy just outright said, yeah, but it's better when you get it yourself. Like, it's better when you pick it up. And it is. It's like one of the most satisfying things about Diablo 3.
What is game design? Game design is about connecting with the player. And I'm sorry, putting the fucking loot on a flat screen at the end of the game when all the action's finished is terrible. Players are on a high as they've just the moment they kill the big guy, they want him to explode like a fucking Mexican pinata thing and go loot. That's what Diablo does. Like you said, it's
And by comparison, now... the PvP side of things, I think, is going to feel a bit stale for some players. I don't think it's going to have the same kind of effect, because it's already like a complete what's the American phrase, crapshoot, as to whether you get something at the end. It's totally random. It's like I was in a game where I got I think it was 3 strange coins. Now I know they're worth something. Like you can
for the gear for that, Zur guy, Agent of the Nine guy.
Yeah, like that's pretty good. 3 is pretty damn good. the guy who came top of the team got nothing. I was bottom, like I was totally shit. If I could have typed, I would have been like, Jesus, sorry, man, because like that to me was totally cheap. I don't like that aspect of it. I much prefer that classic kind of, that classic action RPG thing of, oh yeah, you just smacked him down and now you picked up the loot. Brilliant. That's what I like.
It's like Counter-Strike Global Offensive, where you just get a crate for nothing. It's like, here's a crate. It is some sort of drop, and it's like, oh, okay then. Yeah, it's not very good. I mean, the PvP is not very good, but I mean, we can talk, like I say,
we'll talk
about our actual experience in podcast.
Well, I did find out something which I quite liked. That Red Death gun I've got, which is actually supposed to be pretty good, and I want to use more now that I know what it does, like once you upgrade it and stuff. I was a bit worried because I was like, well, this is like a year 1 version. What you have to do, get a year 2 version. They've basically done exactly the same thing that Diablo's done.
They just upgraded everything on it.
Well, you upgrade it with legendary marks. So you go to an area in the tower, and it's like, here's the foundry. You have the blueprint for a year 2 Red Death, and I think it's 150 marks, so it's quite expensive.
But yeah, then, you only get like 25, don't you? Every time you do something. Yeah.
But then again, it's, from what I've read, it's like if you're going to assign scores to a gun, which most of the sites I looked at do. It's like an 8 out of 10 for PvP and PvE. Yeah. So it's something that's worth doing. But again, it's like little quality of life changes, ain't it? I can see why it's done well, because firstly, it's already got a very established player base. People who really like Destiny just play Destiny. It's got them hooked, which is exactly what you want. But the way it's reworked things by
I think I like Destiny more than Diablo, though. I like Destiny, and I don't know why, because what'll happen, and I can guarantee this will happen. Yeah, after in a couple of weeks' time, I won't touch it again until more DLC comes out. Unless there is so much like content constantly coming out for it, I won't. I know I won't touch it again because I'll just get bored.
Yeah, but then that's the same problem with all of this stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's just the problem with that kind of game. It's like, unless you've got.
I mean, it's easy to hate on it. I think it's really easy to hate on Destiny, especially if you're from a PC gaming background, because all the hate you can level against it. It's not. It's only 30 FPS. It's only this. It's only that. I'm telling you right now, I could easily sit there and play that game. I do, and I enjoy it. So come at me. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't care.
Well, my leveling my WoW character's totally dropped off at the moment because
exactly
I keep playing
same
Destiny.
For me.
It's like I know I'm going to go back to leveling my WoW character.
Playing Blood Bowl.
I want to level whatever it is for the expansion.
Yeah, but it's so fast to level for WoW. It's like
yeah, I think I'm like 76. I've been in Northrend for about 8 hours or something. It's just ridiculous. It's just so fast. But yeah, I can see why it's done well. And actually, I did play Diablo 3 for a long time after you stopped because
you played it more than me. Yeah,
I got the loot.
But didn't you use it like though? It's like sort of like this chill out thing where I'm just going to go and play Diablo.
Yeah, it was just putting some music on and just kind of grinding down mobs, and it wasn't. The thing is, it's not particularly challenging. But then again,
no, it never is.
Up to a certain point, I don't think Destiny, I think, is a bit more challenging. I don't think you can do it quite in the same way.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with that because you do get, you can get like wasted in Destiny.
You can die. Like you can just die. Even if you're level 40 on a 40 strike, you can still die because even if you're up against level 11s, like passing through an area, you get hit enough, you lose all your health and you're gone. Diablo 3 doesn't have that because, like my Crusader, I think I said before, I think she can survive tier 6, but she can't kill the mobs quick enough. But if she can survive tier 6. If I'm farming in tier 5, then I just never die. Like, there's no risk. There's literally no risk whatsoever. Yeah. She is never going to die to anything in tier 5 at this stage. But I can't clear tier 6 quick enough. So I'm in this weird limbo where the game isn't challenging and I can progress, but there's no challenge to it. Whereas I don't think you ever get to that point in Destiny where you can just stand there out in the open and be like, yeah, whatever. Like you will always
you'll always get wrecked, yeah.
So I think in that respect it's a bit different. I'd still play Diablo 3 to chill out, and in fact I want to try playing it again anyway because of the new patch that dropped. But if you want to have like a couple of hours of a similar experience where you've got to keep your wits about you and actually play the game as opposed to hold left mouse button and press 1 to 4 occasionally, then you're going to go for Destiny instead, aren't you? On something completely different. Which this is going to get the blood flowing because I love this story. League of Legends YouTuber gets banned for hate speech. Now, this is from PC Gamer, and this is the tale of Dunkey, which you've probably heard of. He's actually got quite big fairly recently. His
Yeah,
videos
he's got
turn
the
up on Reddit all the
Dunkey
time.
avatar, hasn't he? Yeah.
So, as PC Gamers say, it's well established that Riot does its utmost to choke out League of Legends toxicity, and prominent YouTuber Dunkey learned that the hard way when he was banned for toxic behaviour. It's not appropriate to reprint his words, they're in the embedded video, but they involve lots of swear words and suggestions on how to die. That is entirely accurate. I've watched the video a couple of times to make sure I don't screw this up. Dunkey posted a video defending himself against the ban, and since it was published at the weekend, it has racked up over 1 million views. Dunkey's position is stubborn. He thinks League of Legends would be boring without trash talking, and adds that Riot should have acknowledged his services to the game. After all, he's been actively promoting it via his videos for years now, and we'll get onto that in a second, because that's hilarious. Someone at Riot must acknowledge Dunkey's influence, because a spokesperson for the company has deigned to respond to the YouTuber's video. On Ask FM, lead game designer of Social Systems Jeffrey Lynn addressed the outrage. It's really unfortunate. Many writers love Dunkey's content, and I've unloaded my share of not even close baby jokes around the office. However, we really can't show favouritism to someone just because they are a pro or a known content creator. This isn't really a debate about whether trash talking is okay or not okay in games. We've talked a lot in the past about how we're okay with players bantering with their friends, but you should be careful when interacting with strangers who may not understand your intentions, especially if you're using hate speech or slurs. We have a zero-tolerance policy against hate speech, racism, homophobia and sexism, and that policy stands whether you're a random player, a pro player or a YouTube celebrity. So he has got a full statement, but the gist of it is basically what he's just said. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. If you talk shit, you're going to get banned because that's part of the rules. Now, I've watched the video a couple of times. What it comes down to is, at the moment, there's a fairly serious problem in League of Legends, and if you talk shit to people, you'll get banned, which is fine. You know, they're trying to prevent toxicity. It's a losing battle, but they are trying. However, if you go AFK, or if you feed, you don't get banned because they currently don't have a system in place that's sufficient enough to deal with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dunkey's logic is essentially that you should be allowed to trash talk in games, that it doesn't mean anything, and it's just part of competitive play and competitive sport. That it's stupid that you can be banned for trash talking, but you won't be banned for, say, going AFK for half an hour or feeding the enemy team. He's kind of equating the two together, whereby, you know, one is worse than the other, therefore he shouldn't have been banned for the one that he did.
Right.
And something else that he said, which is horrendously misguided for someone as big as him, is that he has been the game's chief kind of promoter of League of Legends. You know, he's produced the most content for it. For the last 4 years, they owe him a favour, and that they've never done anything for him. Now, to address that point straight away, because I think I know what you're going to say, which is basically, Riot firstly don't owe him shit. That's the first part of it. Secondly, they have done at least 2 things for him that I know of.
Doesn't he owe them?
Firstly, they have allowed him to monetize his videos, which, given his subscriber base, has resulted in tens of thousands of dollars. He has made a living off making League of Legends videos.
Yeah.
That's what they've given him, the ability to
That's why he wants to be unblocked.
Making a living by playing a game that apparently he doesn't enjoy, because half the video is ranting about how League of Legends is shit and it's boring and it's broken and no one likes it and people only play it because they're addicted to it and it's actually a really shit game. Why you've played it for the past 4 years, if that's the case, I don't know. It sounded like kind of typical.
What's the length of this ban?
2 weeks.
Oh, so it's
no, it's nothing. What I think it was, there was a thread about it on the League of Legends subreddit when another writer turned up and just said it's not even a permanent ban, it's like a 2-week ban. And they also made a comment about they're not going to post his reform card if he doesn't want to. The reform card is the thing you get when you're banned, showing you all the nasty things you've said. So for that comment to be made, kind of leads you to assume that there's been some pretty nasty things that he said.
Well, I've got a quote of what he said.
Yeah, go on.
He said, Malphite, you are a fucking worthless, brain-dead, scumfuck bastard pile of trash mental dickface that should be gunned down in the street like the degenerate you are. That's what he said to Malphite. Now, hang on. You can see I'm laughing. If I said that to Kiri, he would piss himself laughing. But I'm saying it to Kiri because I know Kiri, right? Yeah. I'm playing with this is another problem as well. If you're playing with your mates, right, on this game, and like you've got one, or maybe you're in a duo or something, and you're laughing at the other guy who's your mate through the text or whatever, somebody else could report you and say, "Oh my God, you're being so aggressive to this guy," but really, I'm not. But that's like a weird situation. But anyway, I'm laughing at that. I find that funny if I'm saying that to Kiri. If he said that to me, I'd be like, fuck you, Kiri. It'd be funny banter. But if you're attacking somebody you don't know because they've done something wrong, and you're like typing that into the chat. Now, League of Legends is a game that's available for children to play. To maintain their rating, they can't have this going on anyway. So they have to do something about it. And also, it just brings down the quality of the game overall for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Much as I hate to say it, most people don't go around swearing all the time like me and Kiri. They may be fine, upstanding members of the community who, in fact, like to partake in online multiplayer gameplay and not be called scum-faced, dick, brain dead, mental shit stains,
who deserve
whatever,
to die. Yeah,
in the street. Yeah.
The other thing as well that I was going to quickly say is that when he says, "Right, I've never done anything for him," because what brought on that little rant that he gave was the fact that he emailed Riot and he said, "Can you unban me because I want to complete the video that I was making when I was banned?" And they responded. Now, when he put the thing up from their response, he put an obvious Photoshop in that said, "Nope, you're toxic." They obviously wouldn't have said that. There would have been a more detailed response to his request, but of course, it's his shtick to be over the top and ridiculous. He's replaced it with "Nope, you're toxic." So we have no idea what Riot actually said back to him. But that's what sparked the whole, "They've never done anything for me, even though I've been promoting their game for 4 years." To which obviously we've said, they've allowed him to make a living off it. They also showed one of his videos on stage at the finals of the Season 2 World Championship. Now, for a company to acknowledge you for an event that big is fucking huge, right? I don't care that we're not in Season 2 anymore. I don't care how long ago it was. That's still a very big thing to happen. That's still something that they don't need to do that. And given the nature of his content, you could actually understand why they wouldn't want to do that. But they did anyway.
It's very,
Because as they've pointed out, quite a few people actually enjoy the content themselves. That is just something that I just found a bit pathetic, frankly. I would never sit there. If I say, in fact, we're talking about Destiny. Say I was in PvP, and having lost a game of PvP, I made a point of adding all the people I'd played against and sending them just horrendous, shit, telling them to die and insulting them and just really horrendous behavior, and I got banned. I would not say to Sony or Activision or Bungie or anyone, "Oh, but in the last video I said that Destiny was actually quite good, so can you unban me?" Because that's fucking stupid. That's nothing to do with anything. That's just because you've made a video on the game does not mean the creator of that game is somehow entitled to make you above the rules.
Yeah, and that's a very childish point of view. That's the point of view. I don't know who this Dunkey guy is. I don't know his age, where he comes from, whatever. I just know he makes stupid League of Legends videos. But I could easily see somebody from the Call of Duty community doing this if they were banned, or somebody from the FIFA community, or somebody from Hearthstone or something like that. "Oh, I'm making bloody videos on your game, blah blah blah. You've banned me. Don't you know who I am?" sort of thing. They become like it's that thing of getting too big for your boots, almost, isn't it? It's I'm this big guy. I get loads of millions of views. I'm influential. Blah blah blah.
There's a perfect example of this on our channel. We made a stupid World of Tanks video. I got banned from World of Tanks for I think it was a week. Because I killed someone on our team. Now, I've admitted before, that's obviously a shitty thing to do. It was for a video, we were messing about, but it's also not particularly fair to wreck someone else's game. And I've said that before. I'm not sitting there going, "Lol, I killed him, haha." It was funny at the time, and then I was like, actually, that was pretty shit. I did not then email Wargaming and go, "Excuse me, have you looked at our channel? We've done loads of World of Tanks videos. You sponsored us for some World of Tanks videos. What the fuck is this ban? Lift it immediately." Because they don't owe me shit. I've done nothing. They've already done the favour. They already did the favour for me. In the case of Wargaming, it was allowing us to monetize the videos, and it was sponsoring some videos from us. In the case of Dunkey, it was allowing me to make a bloody living and playing one of his videos at the World Championships for Season 2. They have done that favour already. If he wants to bitch about it, I know look at things like Nintendo, where they don't give you any fucking money for making all the videos.
Yeah. And I know of people who have built their channels completely off Blizzard games and have toxic relationships with Blizzard, but fully understand what Blizzard have made them.
Yeah.
They know that.
Yeah.
And they still will play Blizzard games and make content on them, but they hate Blizzard. But they know, because, Blizzard is a whole other argument anyway, but Yeah, no, this is just this guy.
It's a totally ludicrous thing to do.
This guy sounds like a wanker. You know what? Right? You know that Kaleidoscopic guy, KSI.
Oh god,
that guy.
yeah.
He's got an autobiography out or something, and it's some Bellend.
The title of it is "I'm a Bellend." I'm pretty sure.
That's actually referring to the people who buy the book. That's my joke. No, that's just what I'm saying. If you bought it, you're a Bellend.
I'd agree with that. I actually would.
I mean, I don't know what any of these guys are like. I mean, I speak to some fairly big YouTubers quite a lot, and the ones I've spoke to, they seem down to earth to me, but they're not of that kind of, shall we say, caliber, of that kind of size. Like, I don't speak to somebody who has got 10 million subs or somebody who's much younger in age. You know, like when we slammed Syndicate Project for his branding stuff.
Yeah.
He's a much younger. I mean, he's like 22 or something. You know, I don't know.
See, this is the other thing as well. The nature of Dunkey's content is that it's such that you kind of...
Isn't it just like, it's just super cut, stupid fucking...
Yeah, and
over the top
I think
shit.
It's probably fair to say that it skews younger. I'd be willing to put quite a bit of money on it being like on the low end of the demographic scale. So you're talking sort of like early teenagers, because a lot of it is that kind of random, you know, it's a kind of mix of lol, so random stuff and kind of over the top insults and like, oh, this Malphite's fucking trash. What a fucking idiot. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's going to kill me. Oh, he's going to kill me. Oh, but he hasn't killed me. I've killed him. You fucking suck. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole kind of weird kind of moral outrage thing you could do, but when you have an audience that is attracted to that kind of content, which, as I said, I assume it skews younger, if you then make a video saying, Riot's fucked me over, Riot's never done anything for me, League of Legends is shit, League of Legends is boring, it's a shit game, no one likes it, no one really plays it because they enjoy it, they all secretly hate it, I wanted to make a video, I should be allowed to talk shit to people whenever I like, I should not be banned for calling someone a fucking degenerate and telling them to die. A significant portion of his fans, and in fact, if you look at the video itself, a depressing number of his fans have just gone, oh yeah, this is bullshit, right, retards.
And look at the Frankie video on our channel where his fans turned up and told me I was a dickhead for showing them. I was just...
And it's just... I have a serious problem with people who are... The thing is, I don't think... When I say I don't think he made the video and was malicious in the making of it, in a way, I don't think he was doing it in a malicious way. I think it was a gut reaction to something he didn't like. But the problem is that although his videos might skew younger, that is not an excuse for him to behave the same way that his demographic would when their mum takes away their Xbox One.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sorry, but it's just not. You're in a position where you are literally getting hundreds of thousands of views on every video. You're making a living off it. You are directly influencing the people who watch your content. If you get banned for breaking the rules and then say, I shouldn't be responsible for this, I should be exempt from the rules, and they should be thankful that I've done this and that and the other, that's making all these people think that you are, in fact, entitled to be exempt from the rules, that you are entitled to all kinds of fancy shit from Riot, when really, you're not entitled to shit. And in the grown-up world where the rest of anyone else lives, if you break the rules, you get fucked up because you've broken the rules. So don't do it. And then if you do it, don't try and claim a lack of responsibility, and don't claim that somehow you're above it because you've done someone a favour. Because I'm going to be completely blunt, Dunkey has done fuck all for League of Legends. In the grand scheme of things, in the grand global player base of LoL, the millions of people that log on every day to play it, he has affected it in such a fucking pathetically small margin that they wouldn't even notice if he'd never made videos for it. Right? Yeah. They just wouldn't. He was not even a blip on the radar. The fact that they showed his video at Season 2 is nothing to do with his influence over the community or how many players he brought in. It was because someone at the office thought he was funny. If they'd never come across him, do you know what they would have done? They would have featured a different League of Legends YouTuber, and no one would have heard of this fucking prick making stupid statements on his gash video because he's having a sulk because his mommy took away his toys.
Also, as well, you'll probably see more follow-up videos on this guy's channel because he knows it's hot. Like, this will get a load of views. We're talking
got
about
like
it.
1 million of something views.
Yeah, there'll be like some sort of follow-up, like Riot are liars or something, or a response to this guy's...
2.3 million views and 102,000 likes.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I mean, I hope Riot don't go, oh, we best unban this guy. That'll be bad.
Bet they won't. I'm sure.
I doubt they will. But that, I mean, like those.
Well, I've just said they don't fucking need
like
him.
ratio. No, but that like ratio is frightening to me.
It's like 10,000 dislikes. It's like that's 10,000 people who were actually kind of on the ball enough to dislike the video.
Yeah, but there's 10 times more.
100,000 people who went to the effort, because there's a low conversion rate between views and likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
That 100,000 people felt strongly enough to actually agree with what he said, when what he said is, "I'm more important than you. Unban me." That's just fucking terrible, frankly. God, that's depressed me now. Let's go on to something completely different. Let's go on to something really, really predictable, even more predictable than the habits of bitchy YouTubers and their terrible fan bases. Did you know, bloke? Did you have any idea at all that Assassin's Creed Syndicate would add Jack the Ripper DLC?
Well, I knew it was in London.
Did you have any clue?
I thought they were going to add. No, bloke. It came as a really big shock to me.
It's getting to the point now where
they're going to have the fucking oh God, what's his name? The barber guy. The murder man.
Oh God, what's it? The barber of
Butcher Block.
Yeah, what's his name?
No,
I forgot what it's called. The
Meat Pie Man.
Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Is it?
Yeah. What's his name?
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd. He'll be there.
That was it.
Sweeney Todd DLC. You'll go in to buy, get a new beard on your guy, and
that would be amazing. I would love that. If you're playing Assassin's Creed and you went into Sweeney Todd's shop and got a haircut and he just slit your throat and it was game over. I approve.
That would be good.
That would be quality.
Yeah.
It's like never going to happen.
It's running you through the tutorial to customize your character, and you just get slit.
Yeah,
sent down to the meat factory below.
Make it like a really long con. So you start the game and it's like, design your character here, and it's like, if you want to change the appearance of your character at level 10, you unlock the barbershop. So you play it. It takes maybe 5 hours to get to level 10, and you're like, awesome. I'm going to check out the barbershop. You go in, your character's dead, done. You don't even come back. It's not a desync. The game just ends. It's like making a new character, and don't go to Sweeney Todd for a haircut next time. That would be amazing. I would make that. Although that would be a bit too Dark Souls for most, I'd imagine. Mind you, Dark Souls ain't that harsh. Just wipe the character. Yeah, he's gone. Sweeney Todd ate him, so off you go.
It caused some sort of script to run that just overheats the fucking CPU on the Xbox, whatever. People are playing it and totally bricks it. Oh no! Yeah. So I mean, what else would you get on this? There'll be some sort of Queen Victoria related bullshit going on.
Yeah, there'll probably be some sort of plot by the Templars to assassinate Queen Victoria. Obviously,
there'll be you reckon Brunel will be there building some sort of ship?
What's his name? Is it Hissen?
No, Islington Humbard. Oh my God, it's got a really long barreled name.
Yeah, it's crazy. Brunel. What hang on, was it?
Islington Humbard. Something.
Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
That's it. Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Which is a solid name, That's a quality
There's
name.
That famous picture of him standing there next to a anchor. You might be able to find it, like a massive anchor of one of the boats he built. And he's leaning up the chain or something.
It'll probably be on this Wikipedia page.
A lot of the stuff he's built is still in operation in this country. Like tunnels and shit. Yeah, I fucking knew it.
It's next to the chains for an anchor.
Link me up, man.
There you go. I'm going to put it on the desktop. This is Isambard Kingdom Brunel. Solid name. Solid man as well. Look at that.
There you go. Next to the fucking chains.
What a hat
that
guy's got.
Shit. Look how big that chain is. I mean, fucking.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see Sweeney Todd. I mean, the Jack the Ripper stuff was It was obviously really.
That was the Clifton Suspension Bridge, wasn't that?
Yes.
That was the first suspension bridge in the world. He won it or something ridiculous. The man's a fucking hero.
No, I kind of.
I mean, Paddington Station.
Paddington Bear.
It's still the same. He built it.
It is. Paddington Station's quality. I was almost disappointed they actually announced this, because it would have been nice if they went a bit kind of, I guess, not blatantly obvious.
It's going to be. It's got.
But
it's got to be blatantly obvious.
We've had Leonardo da Vinci, haven't we? And we've had. Was it Napoleon in? No, not Napoleon. Was it Napoleon in Unity? I can't remember.
It's probably because it was in France.
Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah, it was. It was Napoleon. I mean, I played that game and I couldn't even remember. What does that tell you about the storytelling for that one?
Yeah, but I knew because it was French, bloke. You see, it's
Yeah,
French.
that's
It's
true.
going to have Napoleon in
French.
it.
It's French. It's going to have Napoleon. I can't remember what they had in. I know they had like Blackbeard. I think, didn't they? In Black Flag. Was it
Yeah,
Blackbeard?
but
I know he's kind
anyway. Going back to the one, I reckon there's going to be Florence Nightingale DLC or something because she was Victorian nurse woman.
Yes. Yeah.
Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Yep.
We got Jack the Ripper.
It'll probably help you build some form of ridiculous machine.
Is Charles Darwin something to do with this time frame as well? Or was he a bit before?
When was Charles Darwin?
Maybe he was like 1800s.
1809 he was born?
Let's say start of Victorian.
1882.
Yeah, 1882 Victorian.
Yeah, that's...
Well, Edwardian. Yeah,
he
fucking
Victorian.
He could be there. Some sort of Galapagos Islands
Really, we
DLC.
should just be writing
back in the
Assassin's
Caribbean.
Creed story.
Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens. Oh, well. The one thing that I am a bit
Oliver Twist.
confused about, for some reason, if you have a quick look at old Jack the Ripper,
right? Which
he
one?
seems to have a bag on his head.
Picture. Yeah, like
he looks like Rorschach out of Watchmen. Yeah, I don't know why they've made him look like. Well, mind you, we don't actually know who Jack the Ripper is yet, do we?
No,
we kind of maybe do, but we're not sure. I say we, as though I'm part of the police force or something. The world at large,
200-year-old crime.
Isn't entirely sure who Jack the Ripper. Who was Jack the Ripper? If Wikipedia gives you the answer, then you know that we're fine.
Bloke, he was Jack.
He was Jack the Ripper. No, we don't. Oh, other names. I didn't realise this. He had other names. The Whitechapel Murderer.
Oh yeah, because
and Leather Apron. I really like the Whitechapel Murderer. You know what?
Leather Apron.
You know what?
Oh no, the Leather Apron is coming for us.
When this is going.
Yeah, now.
When Battlefleet Gothic Armada comes out, if there is an option to name your ships, my capital ship is absolutely going to be called the Whitechapel Murderer. I'm totally going to do that. And next time I play Sins of a Solar Empire, you know what my flagship's going to be called as well. I'll make the Dreadnought, and that can be the Whitechapel Murderer.
We need to play that again.
Yeah, we do. Isn't the next bit of the next version of Star Trek out? Star Trek Armada for that.
Something is out for it, I think. But I say next version is like months old.
Yeah,
I know.
We need to get on that.
What about? I've just googled it, bloke. What about Charles Babbage? Sounds like cabbage.
Difference engine.
Yeah.
You know what? He got
computer-ish kind of thing.
He got absolutely sold in his era. He made the Difference engine. When he died, no
Which
one
is
went
an awesome name for a computer.
It really is, yeah. When he died, no one.
The Difference engine.
That's probably why no one spoke to him, because they were like, "What the fuck, Charles?" But when he died, no one went to his funeral, and he had no money. Because they were like, this Difference engine thing's fucking terrible. What is this? It doesn't do anything. Like, they didn't understand it. And so
but it worked though when somebody built it, didn't they? Did they build it?
Yeah, someone built a replica of it, and like he got shunned by everyone.
This thing,
and he was just cast out from society, and it's bullshit. In fact, he made the first ever computer, like in 1800 something. What the hell?
Yeah, there's a big fucking picture of it, built in 1991.
I mean, look at that. Why would you shun a guy who made that in like the 1800s? What the hell? Look at it. Bloody amazing. But yeah, he should be in. He should make the first. You've got to protect the Difference engine from Jack the Ripper. That's going to be the Assassin's Creed DLC.
And if you get slashed, you go off to the fucking Florence Nightingale DLC. And then you randomly start de-evolving, where you have to go to Charles Darwin for the secrets of evolution to go back to the.
You start de-evolving. If you don't, by the end of the game, if you don't go to him, you're just like a massive monkey in a suit with a hood up.
And then you get
because that's how evolution works. Creationists.
You fall down a collapsed mine shaft, and you need the engineering genius of Isambard Kingdom Brunel to break out.
We've just
written
you have to pay for it. We've just written Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Don't even play the game. We've just written it. That's what's going to happen. Easy, done. Christ. Anyway, on to something a lot more pure and worthy. Total War Warhammer. They did a long gameplay video involving dwarves, which actually look pretty damn good. I do like the dwarves in Warhammer. They look solid. And it's got them fighting a variety of lads, big giant guys, spiders, the usual, the standard Warhammer.
I commented on this video earlier on in the day.
Oh,
I wonder if.
What did you say, sir? You didn't link.
I just said something.
I bet it was this looks quality
YouTube video.
This is pure or something, isn't it?
Surely. I said. Loading. Oh Lord, this is looking really fantastic. Hopefully the launch goes smooth. That's what I said.
Well, that is, as with all Creative Assembly games, that is the hope, isn't it? Because I'm not going to lie, I'm really looking forward to this, but
yeah, this was impressive. Now I watched the trailer and it's impressive. Well, it's not a trailer. What this is on the 11th of September. A load of YouTubers were invited to go to the Ambush at the Thundering Falls thingy, yeah? We were invited, but we never went for a number of reasons. But it wasn't an event where you could capture footage, so it's kind of pointless for YouTubers to go, because why would you do that? But you could play the game, you could find out information, blah, 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 and all that shit. They kept the gameplay trailer for themselves. Now, to me, that's saying... They say it's alpha, but there's probably glaringly rancid issues, which if anybody started playing the game, it would fall apart and it would be just terrible. And they don't want that out on YouTube. I get that. It's still an alpha, whatever.
Yeah.
So this, they show this rehearsed battle with the dwarves against the orcs and the goblins. And visually, it looks really impressive. Like the look of the orcs, the dwarves looks fucking crazy. I mean, they've got long beards and they've got armor on their beards, bro. Like the fully armored beard. It's
armor.
like, yes. And it's got little things like, I mean, I'm not the biggest Total War fan, I guess, but it's got little nice touches. Like you get these, they call them agents, but they're basically your characters from Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but they're really powerful. Then you've got like the iconic people like the generals. You still kind of did get them in Total War, where you'd have like your general. And then you've got all the things like the spells and the abilities. You've got aerial units, so that the dwarves come on with gyrocopters, and the gyrocopters have got skill shots on them, so they can fly over a target and just drop grenades on top of them. Now, that's obviously quite good, but they can get shot down by ranged. Now, apart from all of that, it looks like a Total War game. But here's the thing. I already knew what the units do. Like, I know what Slayers do. I know Slayers are crazed dwarf berserkers who don't care. Yeah. And what are they in this game? Well, Slayers are crazed dwarf berserkers that never rout. They never retreat. They're just, they're crazed dwarf berserkers. And I knew that. And I'm like, okay, like, this is going to sound really stupid and fucking, I guess, ignorant. But with other Total War games, I don't know what all of this historical shit is. And I look at it and I'm like, there's a hipper flipper dipper, and there's a shipper hoogu, and a hipper flipper hopo, and a hopper hipper hoobu. And I'm like, I don't know what they do. And I click on them, and it might be like, oh yeah, better at range. And I'm like, but this guy's kind of the same. But when they show me like Iron Drakes, I know that they're ranged dwarfs with rifles, and I know.
Yeah. It makes a massive difference, doesn't it? When you look at, when you're going into a game and it's like, this is the winged limp horseman with the spear javelin of swords, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know what that is. What does it do? And even if it says it's like, this is a ranged unit, is it heavy ranged, light ranged? Is it fast? Is it slow? What does it do? What does it do? You've got to read every description over and over. I know what most of the shit in Warhammer is. And I really like that, because it's like, oh, that's a black orc. Well, I guess that's covered in fucking armor to the
and he's going to be running into the front.
Yeah, smacking the shit out of people. I know what that is. It's like it's having a massive impact in terms of how much I'm looking forward to that game, because I, like you, I'm not a big Total War person.
No, I'm not. But I based off what they've showed me, I could get behind this. But I know that it's a artificial situation for this demo to be run, and they're doing things, they're avoiding other things, and blah blah blah. It looks really optimized, but again, what are they running this on? Maybe it's some fucking triple, 980 wonder rig from the moon or some shit. Who knows?
Made by a wizard.
Probably with a certain sleep. But I'm gonna say maybe it isn't, because Rome and Attila, they run pretty well in the battle phase. On the map, they run like shit. Now, I know what this is. I think there's loads of people have complained about this, right?
I think they've learned from Rome. Like, the launch of Attila was vastly superior to Rome from what people... I mean, we spoke to Lionheart. We spoke to Lionheart at length, and Attila was a lot better at launch than Rome was.
What is Attila? It is Rome too. All that is Rome 2 launched in the piece of shit, and they've carried on updating it and building it, and threw out a bit of DLC. That's Attila. I mean, Attila isn't really that much different. It looks the fucking same. And this is just taking that engine again, but it is a massive overhaul. You know, all the assets are different and everything. So I'm hoping that they've got their engine in a workable condition, and it's fine, and it'll be smooth. I mean, it's 60 FPS smooth. Well, I think it's 60 FPS on the trailer, but it's yeah, it is. But it's smooth, and it looks nice, and the battles look interesting. This looks like a game I want to make a let's play on. It looks like a game that I want to play, like at length. A game where I could sit there, and because they've got things like you can bring these agents into the battle, but they're also your guys on the overland. You know, they're like the guys who are running your empire, but you can still bring them in and say, right, come on, you're coming into the fight. The guy that they show here, I can't remember his name, but he's just a murderer. He just runs in and murders. He's bigger than all the other dwarfs to show that he's like super, and he runs around and he's solid. It looks great. It looks fantastic. You've got iron drakes as well. These are like medium range dwarf units, heavily armored, and they hold cannons that fire. Like a massive jet stream of fire comes out, and they are like massive damage dealers, but they're really slow at moving, and they move really slow. But if they get anything, they just murder it. Like, so they're like really good. And again, like dwarfs are an army which are not mobile because they're dwarfs. They've got stunty legs, but they're designed to take charges. They're a massively defensive army with very powerful ranged weaponry, like their organ guns and all of their stuff. Because that's what dwarfs are known for. You know?
It's like
Warhammer
like
dwarfs are stereotypical they're stereotypical dwarfs in a fantasy setting, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're the same as your fucking dwarfs from Lord of the Rings and all that shit. Your Tolkien dwarfs, they're all the same, ain't they? It's like dwarfs, we live in the ground, we've got no magic, but we build mega guns and we've got amazing armor and massive beards.
It's amazing just how kind of prevalent that is for dwarfs. Like there are various
orcs are the same,
but you kind of get various interpretations of orcs. Like from one fantasy setting to another, there's a little bit of tweaking. There's a little bit of messing with it. Like I think of all the different kind of orc interpretations, I actually prefer
elves
Games
would have been a better
Workshop,
example,
because like they've made orcs actually have kind of personality in a way. Like they are like dumb idiots who just live for fighting, but you've kind of got that societal ranking, and you've got different variations and stuff. Dwarves are always the same. Like if you look at like Dragon Age, for instance, you can play as a dwarf. Guess what? Can't use magic. Like there's no option to use magic because dwarves don't use magic. And funnily enough, they live in a big hole in the ground. They mine all the time, and they've got heavy armor. And I guess in a way that also is what makes Warhammer kind of more interesting to me, because it's not just the fact that it's like Warhammer units that I know about, but it has a very kind of generalized fantasy setting. So even if you're not a massive Warhammer fan, but you do know a bit about fantasy, you're still going to get quite a good feel for stuff. Like you're going to know what orcs do. Like you're going to know that orcs are like close combat focused. You know, it's all about the charge. It's all about heavy hitting units, and it's all about numbers. That's what orcs are. That's what they've always been. You're going to know that dwarves are heavily armored. You're going to know that humans are kind of mid-range. You know, they'll have some long-range stuff, most likely bows and things, but they're also going to have some frontline troops. But they're not going to be as like heavy armored. They're not going to be as strong, but they'll have a good middle. You know what all of this stuff is. The only thing that kind of I think will be interesting is people picking it up who aren't familiar with things like chaos, for instance, or I can't remember. Are undead in there? I can't remember if they are or not. I know Tomb Kings aren't, are they?
No, no, I think undead are. I think you've got chaos, you've got undead, you've got humans, you've got dwarfs, you've got orcs, you've got something else as well. You might have Skaven.
That's it, Skaven. I think Skaven and undead might actually kind of tip it a little bit, might unbalance it slightly, because undead you kind of think hordes of shambling zombies, but undead also comes under the heading of like vampires and stuff, which traditionally actually you don't tend to get in fantasy that much. It's like a weird amalgamation of your typical kind of zombie horde
Hang on,
thing.
Here we go. These are the playable race. You've got orcs, goblins, dwarfs, vampire counts, empire. This is a fairly old article. I'm sure I've seen Skaven somewhere.
Yeah, I thought I had as well.
Like, I'd expect to see Skaven, and I'd expect not to see Lizardman, for example. Because Skaven is more... Like, it's the rat guys. Lizardman is like the lizard guys. Like they don't seem as, like, a frontline alpha race, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like the thing, obviously, it's going to take a shitload of money and time to develop these extra skins. I mean, I heard it costs Cyanide 100,000 euros to skin a race in Blood Bowl. That's for the armor variations.
That
because in
doesn't
Blood Bowl
surprise
2,
me.
well, in Blood Bowl 2, no, it doesn't surprise me either. But in Blood Bowl 2, the armor changes when they level up. You give them different abilities, their armor changes. But think about this game, Warhammer Total War. There's so many more models. It's probably going to cost like $1 million or something to fucking
as well.
make a race. You know?
This is what makes Total Warhammer like really interesting to me, because they've said it's like the biggest Total War game they've done to date. I could understand that anyway, because you know that every Total War game to some degree gets a bit bigger than the last one, because that's generally how development works. You know, you build, you improve as you go along. But Games Workshop, for all the fact that they're handing out their IP to pretty much anyone who asks at the moment, and you're handing with, you know, loads, just endless reams of shit mobile games and stuff. The stuff that they
have you seen the Eisenhorn mobile game with like the stupid stealth shit?
Yeah, it looks terrible. For all that they are giving that license out to everyone, you cannot make a Warhammer game without respecting the visual properties of the license, at the very least. Now, you could make an Eisenhorn mobile game, which they are, and probably completely butcher it, but everything in that game will look how Games Workshop wants it to look. Because if it doesn't look how Games Workshop wants it to look, you don't have that license anymore. Like, I mean, the guys from, was it Slithering Games? Did Armageddon?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I read they talked about how like every single unit in that game was sat down in front of a group of people from Games Workshop.
Yeah,
and it was like,
the IP guys. Make sure it's.
Can we use this? Yes. Can we use that? No. That gun barrel is not the right size. Go away. Do it again. And it's like they do that to everything. So anything in Total War Warhammer, I'm still going to just call it Total Warhammer. It's just better.
This ain't it. I don't know why it's not called that.
It's just going to be like, it is going to be right down to the smallest detail, exactly how it should be. I mean, you can kind of get away with almost different interpretations, but I think it depends on the style of the game. Like if you look at Regicide, for instance, the orcs are what I class as more realistic looking than the tabletop models. But they will have made those, and they will have presented them to Games Workshop, and they will have said, this is what we have done for the orcs in this game. And if Games Workshop had said, no, make it look exactly like that model, they would have had to go away and make it look exactly like that model. So
yeah,
I think that that's part of it as well for me. It's like, I know when I play Total Warhammer, it's going to look like Warhammer. Like, even though I'm not massively familiar, I'm going to be like, I know what that is.
They should have called it Total War at the top, in small, and then just Total Warhammer. That's what, and then they just always refer to it as Total Warhammer. Because I know that it's just like, well, guys, it's our IP, Total War.
Yeah, they just gonna
Warhammer. No, Total Warhammer.
It just sounds better.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. This is the biggest Total War game they've made. It's got the most features. It looks the best. I said before, this is the game that could open up Total War to the masses, or to people like me, who I think deep down does want to play a Total War game, but just doesn't care enough to learn about all of Attila's units, because really I only cared about Roman units, and that game was totally shit, so I just bashed me beyond recovery, and I couldn't come back from that.
You're right, though.
I can.
I think the thing as well is that we've said before that it's like Total Warhammer will appeal to Warhammer fans because, well, it's Warhammer.
Yeah.
But it's also the best kind of low fantasy. It's so accessible. It's so easy. It's so simple to understand, because you have got these staples of fantasy fiction, but you've also got kind of like almost.
I mean, you walk up to anyone, right? Well, you walk up to anyone who's played like any kind of fantasy game in some capacity, and you said to them, "What do you think the Dwarven army will be like?" And they're going to say a defensive, slow-moving force. If you say, "What do you think the elves are going to be like?" The high elves, they're going to be fast-moving, magic wielding. What do you think the humans are going to be like? Like Kiri said, like sort of middle ground force. You know, what the orcs going to be like? Well, just a murderous, rampaging army. Yeah, you know, I mean, they might have difficulty with what do you think the vampire counts are going to be, but they'll probably say, a lot of like resurrection shit going on and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and that's the thing that makes me a bit frustrated with Warhammer 40k, because it's like I don't think Total War would work for Warhammer 40k, but you could still make a kind of a game in that kind of style to some degree. It would need serious adaptation, but you could still do it. And again, one of the best things about Warhammer 40k is it's fantasy. It's fantasy in space. It's not. When you look at it,
imagine a Horus Heresy Total War.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would be ridiculous. Gone. And that's the thing that kind of, I say, upsets me. It's just frustrating because it's like 40k. And to a degree 30k, it's still fantasy, but it's fantasy in space. You're replacing, when I say you're replacing swords with guns, you're not, because half the bloody factions are still using swords
and the magic
anyway.
And everything is still there. Yeah.
And it's so over the top and ridiculous. And even things like warp travel, it's still magic. Psychers use magic, but that's what people recognise. That's why people love Star Wars. It's like when you say to people who don't like science fiction, like for instance, I use my wife as an example a lot, but she's not a gamer. She's not particularly into kind of, fantasy or sci-fi or anything. She likes Star Wars.
Yeah, because Star Wars is a Wild West in space.
It's Wild West in space. But if I try and get her to sit down and read Alistair Reynolds or something, where there's like
it's hardcore
there's like time, there's like sort of dimensional travel and nanomachines, all kind of crazy stuff going on. It's like
remember the Stabadine? Has anyone ever read that book? He actually died. The author of that did. The
Stabadine.
Is Ian somebody?
Ian Banks. Ian M. Banks.
Yeah, he's dead. And it wasn't called Weapons of something. Oh my god.
Oh, was Weapons of... Oh, shit, I know which one you mean. I think I tried to read that and I didn't do well with it.
It's Use of Weapons, that's what it's called. It's dead weird. But it's got a picture of the Stabadine and it's just this massive battleship. I still can't remember what happened in it, but that was just like about 5 different converging timelines happening every chapter.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the airport. This is the last time I went on holiday, like 3 years ago, and I was like,
I thought it was
I'll get a bit of. It might be. I was like, let's get a bit of light reading for the aeroplane travel. Don't know why I said aeroplane.
Aeroplane.
And I'm looking around and I'm like, you know what? Let's get a sci-fi novel. And I looked, bloke, and I'm like, that's called... Well, it's got a massive ship on the front, and it's Use of Weapons, yes.
Which sounds amazing.
And then I'm like... And it's about some guy from the future traveling to the past, in the present, and he's also in the future in the past, and he's... And he's not really a guy, he's a woman. He's naked, he's running around some super ship, and then something else is going on, and then there's a big battleship, and then a planet's been blown away, and then there's another battleship chasing another battleship, and I don't know what's going on in there.
Well, Alistair Reynolds is one of my favourite authors, and he did a book called Century Reign, which absolutely destroyed my head because it starts in the future, and it's like the Earth is like wiped out. There's all kinds of mental stuff's gone on, like a massive war, and the ozone's collapsed and all this kind of thing. And you get these parties going out hunting for relics and stuff, and then somehow someone from the future ends up on Earth in the past in France whilst it was occupied by Germany, but then it turns out they weren't. They were actually just some sort of communist French government in an alternate timeline. And I was like, I couldn't cope with that. But
let me read you the plot introduction for this then. It's the narrative takes the form of a fractured biography of a man called Sheradinanine Zalalkawi, who was born outside of the culture. Yeah, because the culture is this massive galaxy-spanning civilization who's super intelligent, right? But was recruited into special circumstances by Agent Dizimet Samar, to whom is an operative intervening in less advanced civilizations. The novel recounts several of these interventions by Zakalawi's attempts to come to terms with his own past. And the book's made up of dual narrative streams interwoven in alternating chapters. What the fuck? No wonder I'd read it. I was reading it and I'm like,
I want to try that now. It sounds amazing.
Me. I was like, I read it, but I couldn't tell you what happened.
The one thing that I find really difficult in quite a lot of Ansel stuff is like time relativity stuff. So there's a book he wrote called Pushing Ice, which I really like, where basically there's a signal coming from, it's one of the moons, I think around, is it Saturn or Jupiter or something? Which one is the one that's got all the moons? It might have actually been
Europa.
It was an
Europa's
ice moon.
The famous one. Yeah, that is the ice one. Yeah.
There's ships that go out and they mine asteroids, and then they bring all the stuff back to Earth and stuff. And there's a signal coming from the moon, and a mining ship is near it. and so they go to investigate, and they get caught in the gravity of the moon, and then the moon just flies off through space, which is like a bit mental. But then it gets into really weird like time dilation shit where they end up halfway across the universe without them knowing, because there's only been like 2 years past or something, but actually it's been like 1,000 years on Earth, and they get to a big structure, and it's like a zoo for other races.
Sounds like Red Dwarf.
And then, but partway through the book, technology sent from Earth, like 1,000 years after they departed, ends up next to them because the time still isn't the same. So they end up with like massively technologically advanced stuff appearing, but it's been sent after they left, but it's arrived at the same time as they arrived because it can move faster than they're moving in time that's quicker. And I read it and like, I get to the point where I get to a page and I go, I'm going to write that one off. I'm just going to ignore that bit. It happened. It was magic. It was amazing. Okay, brilliant. On to the next bit. But that's the thing. That's the thing I really like about stuff like Warhammer, is that there's none of that complication. It's very basic. It's like, you might have stuff like the warp, where it's like, oh, the ship got lost in the warp for 1,000 years. But again, when you break it down, it is ship wants to go from here to here. All of this in between is magical stuff, and sometimes you get stuck in it. That's literally all the explanation you need. There's no greater detailed explanation because that's all it is. It's not been thought out that deeply. So for someone who's new to it, you can literally say, so what you've got is you've got knights in space, those are space marines. You've got conscripts in space, like peasants, which are the Imperial Guard. Then again, weapons, they get sent out. You've got elves, you've got dark elves, you've got orcs, you've got demons, and you've got evil humans. And that's pretty much all you need to know. Oh, there might be some undead, which is the Necrons, because obviously they're literally living corpses, except they're made of metal. And you've got the Tau, who you don't really need to explain because they're almost completely irrelevant anyway. But if you wanted to explain them, they've got better guns than the humans, but they can't really go very far. Easy. I've just explained all of 40k pretty much instantly, and that is all the explanation you need. And that's why it's so good. That's why Warhammer's good. That's why 40k is good. But that's why it's so frustrating when it gets kind of squandered. Like Warhammer, the license of Warhammer is not being squandered on Total War because it's perfect for it, and it'll do a good job with it. The license of 40k,
hopefully,
is just being squandered on random shit all the time, and it's like it's stuff that doesn't actually.
We do have some games coming out, don't we? I mean, you've got the Battlefleet Gothic, you've got the random Dark Angels on the fucking the Deathwing thing, which seems to be like Space Hulk for some reason. The Dark Angels are doing it. Yeah, Space Hulk with Dark Angels. I mean, boys, surely it should be the Blood Angels. I mean, is that not the? For God's sake.
I don't get that. I know it's Deathwing, but still, it's like, why would you pick Dark Angels to be on the when it's always been who knows?
Yeah, fighting Terminator. Yeah,
and I still think an FPS in Terminator armor is a really weird choice. Like, let's pick the biggest, slowest, most lumbering version of armor.
Yeah, they should have been Tactical Marines.
I mean, admittedly, having said that, I'd love to play a game where you could play as a Centurion, because that'd be quality. Because you just, mind you, you'd be invincible. So if you can
just be there re-rolling with grav amps all day. 80 shots into that bastard Tyranid fucking.
The game starts with being deployed by a drop pod, and then you just kill everything, and then the game ends. That's it. That's the whole thing. On to more delays. More delays, sir.
God.
Pull over is the frame rate police, which I quite like this headline. Need for Speed PC version delayed. So, the Need for Speed guys have explained why it's been delayed until 2016.
Is this out on the consoles now?
It'll be out, I think, in a month's time, maybe 2. Part of the conversation, well, they're talking about why they're not doing it. Part of the conversation includes hearing from our PC community that an unlocked frame rate in Need for Speed is a massive priority for you, and we fully agree. To deliver this, we've made the decision to move PC release date to spring 2016. This decision on PC gives us the necessary development time to increase the visuals that we can deliver on PC. We will also include content updates that will have been released on console up to that time, making them available to all PC players from day one. That is the sound of progress, because what they've said is that on the consoles, the new Need for Speed game is going to be locked to 30 FPS. And they've said that it's because they want, decent performance on both. They want performance to be equivalent, and they want it to be good.
They don't. What they want is both consoles to be the same. Yeah. So it's not like, you've made a shit version on the Xbox One because it's slower than the PS4.
It's the whole parity of the thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
They want them both to be the same. But they've listened to what the PC players have said, and we don't want the game to be the same. I want to play the new Need for Speed game.
Have they, or have they just looked at the state of Batman on Steam refunds and gone, well, shit, guys.
That could be part of it. But then again, having said that, how realistically, if we're being honest, how many people are going to refund a game for being 30 FPS? I know I would prefer a Need for Speed game at 60 or above, but
it's a tough question. I mean,
I don't think it would make that much of a difference.
Everybody who's vocal would be going, fucking hell,
everyone who's vocal would be. But this is the problem. It's like using Arkham Knight in this scenario, I don't think is actually correct because there's a backlash against that game, not because of the FPS being low.
Well, I don't mean in that sense. I just mean because it was refunded so heavily because it didn't work. But their fears of, oh god. I mean, like I do agree with what you said. If they did just launch and it was 30 FPS, there would be videos. The usual suspects. Hell, I might have even made a video on it going, well, what the fuck is this? It's 30 FPS. It's terrible. It looks like arse. Why is this not running at 60 or 120 or God knows what? So if they take the extra time to do that, and you know what? I don't think Need for Speed particularly sells too well on PC, especially compared to consoles anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a bigger console game. It's
a massive console game.
I want to play the game because I do like my arcade races. And it's been a while since I've.
Well, I mean, it comes out in November, so we can get you a PS4 copy. You're playing it on PS4,
yeah? I just play it on PS4. Although, having said that, if I had the option for like 60 FPS or above, I'd obviously prefer that because it would be a better experience.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I wouldn't play. I don't think I'd play it enough for me to be like, I have to have it on PC. Like, I like playing those games, but I don't sit there and play them intensively. It's not like
Isn't this the one with the crazy, like, well, not CGI, like real action shit which goes into the game?
Yeah. It does look really good. I know this stuff can change before launch, maybe burned in the past, but if it launches looking anywhere near as good as the previews have shown, I will be firstly very impressed, because it does look that good, but also really happy because let's face it, if you like cars, you're playing Need for Speed or you're playing some sort of simulator, and the better it looks, the better the game's going to feel when you're playing it. The only thing
I think I'd really enjoy. I've never really sat down and played any kind of racing game, but I bet you I'd enjoy it with an actual a wheel. You know, a proper like one of them Logitech G, whatever they're called, G27 or something. I bet you I would enjoy it because guess what? I like driving cars. I also somehow managed to get a license.
I'm just bitter because I managed to trade my car in. Gotta get a fucking estate car. What am I, 80 years old? Christ. Anyway, Bloodborne. The old Hunters expansion revealed coming November.
I still haven't completed Bloodborne because I played it. I played it, then I got laryngitis, and then I had to stop. And I was playing it at launch, and everyone was loving it on the stream. It was like, holy shit, this is great. It was doing quite well as well.
You got wrecked, didn't you? And then you couldn't stream it again, but then everyone had finished it. So it was like...
that happened to me. And I was like, shit. Went to the doctors, and the doctor looked down my throat, and he's like, oh dear, you've got laryngitis. But I didn't have laryngitis. I just had sort of overworked voice box bullshit. I don't know.
Overworked voice box. It's bullshit. Legitimate condition.
That's what Wikipedia said to me. But yeah, so I had to stop for a couple of days. And then when I came back and started the stream, everybody's completed the game then, haven't they? So as soon as I do anything, I'm just attacked in the chat, and I just was like, well, fuck you then. And I just left. And I've not touched it since.
Do you know what's crazy about that? Do you remember when we did a full playthrough of Dark Souls with Ruby?
Yeah.
From leaving
like
to
3 years after it launched.
Yeah, all the way to the end boss. It was co-op, so it was far easier than it should have been. People were giving us gear all over the shop. I ended up with, that character I've got. I started New Game Plus with that character, and then I stopped because there was no point, because it wasn't like playing Dark Souls, because I was too hard. Like, I just didn't die. I could just
fat roll stuff. Man. It was the fat roll man. Wasn't it?
But it's like, I didn't even need to fat roll. I just stood there with a shield up, and then I could kill anything in like one hit, and it was like, this is totally shit. But then I didn't want to start again because it was like, well, I've got this sweet gear. But the thing is, we played all the way through, and for some reason, doing it co-op and doing it with Rui, who is obviously known for doing Dark Souls content, no one spoiled anything. We had like 2 incidents where someone spoiled something, and it was both times it was by accident, and it was actually in the game because they invaded and triggered an event which they didn't think they could trigger. The chat not once sat there and went, no, you're supposed to go that way, or oh no, you're supposed to do this. Oh, why have you done that? Oh, that's totally stupid. Instead, they just watched us play, and if anything, encouraged us to fuck each other over as often as possible. I don't understand why. With Dark Souls, it was a case of these guys haven't played it before, let's fuck with them. But with Bloodborne, because it was one person, it was like, I've completed this game, you're doing it wrong. It's like, what was the difference? Like, honestly, what was the difference between the two?
I think it was because my the Bloodborne stream started when the game launched. Now, I'd had experience of running through Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and Dark Souls 2. So I know how to play Souls games. I don't replay them. I play them once, and that's it. I don't like have the urge to go through multiple character builds and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I knew how to play Bloodborne, right? And the very first boss I came up to, I killed it the first time. Like, and people were getting stuck on this, and I thought, well, I was a little bit lucky, but I did kill it, and I was like, okay. And I was making fast progress on the bosses. Some I'd get stuck on. It was fine though, because nobody had really low numbers of people had actually beat the boss at that time. Because I was putting like 7 or 8 hour streams together the day the game launched, then the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So I was very intensively playing it, and I was doing the whole thing of we'd play music like holding out for a hero or something. Yeah. Like, maybe this would be the song to make me win. And if it did, then that was like a hero song.
The first night that you streamed it, I wasn't at the computer for it. I was downstairs with my wife. We were eating dinner and having a drink. I think it was maybe a Friday night, I think, maybe. Or a Saturday, something like that. And I had the stream on, the TV downstairs, which, by the way, the Unit Lost stream looks pretty damn good on a 42-inch TV in high definition. It looks quality. So that's the way to go. But we were sat there, and she
even
was
better with these lights now.
Yeah, she was suggesting songs to try and get you to play while she was doing the boss. And everyone in the chat, I had the TV, the TV showing the the gameplay, and the iPad having the chat, which by the way is a quality feature on the Chromecast, which is just awesome. And the chat were just loving it. And it was brilliant. And then the next time you streamed it, after your voice had recovered, it was like a different group. It was almost like a completely different group of people watching. It was just crazy. It had gone from, oh yeah, this is awesome. Oh, play this song, do this, and instead it became, no, you fucked that up. And I was just like, the first time I was like, what the fuck is happening?
You've got this very like interesting supply and demand thing where those people, even though they're fans of Unit Lost, wanted to see Bloodborne, and they were happy to have it delivered in these massive like chunks that I was pumping out every day. And as soon as it stopped, they then just go somewhere else for this, or they play it themselves, or do something like that. And then when I come back, they're like, "Oh, let's see what he's doing," and they get really frustrated because they've seen this done, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's going to die again for the 10th time." And this boss, doesn't he know he has to pick his nose and scratch his arse while he's holding the controller with his fucking mouth? And that somehow that's how and it's like, oh my god, and it like you have to enjoy the game to stream it, and it totally killed it for me. And I just went no. So I don't even know what's in the expansion, bro. Just more Bloodborne, because I know Dark Souls 3 is coming out next year in Japan.
It just says, learn the tale of hunters who once made Yharnam their hunting grounds, meet new NPCs, and discover another side of the history and world of Bloodborne. Actually, I phrased it better than Sony did, but there you go. And the new weapon is named Simon's Bowblade Weapon, and the new boss is named Ludwig. So
very original.
So there you go. That's all the information they've given. There is a trailer that you can watch.
I'm not surprised this has come out, because this is the stopgap period before Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
So they need to. Well, not need to.
It's priced at €12 or €15 or.
So it's not bad. Yeah.
Whatever that is in American dollars, because it doesn't say on Eurogamer, but then it's Eurogamer, so why would it?
Eurogamer.
But yeah, doesn't seem too bad. That doesn't seem too bad. Whether it turns out to be any good is another matter entirely, but the price doesn't seem too bad. Well, the last two things that we've got, which I suppose we can just lump together because neither of them make any sense whatsoever, is that there is a new Resident Evil game coming out, Umbrella Corporation, which for some reason is a third-person MOBA style game, which I don't understand at all. Because, of course, the Resident Evil series needs that. And all the players who played Resident Evil want that, don't they?
Hey, there's a Ghost in the Shell FPS game that was announced.
Oh,
but I don't know what because I've only ever seen the original film. That's my entire Ghost in the Shell experience, and that is a fucking brilliant. Have you seen that film?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's on Netflix. We'll go and watch it tonight. It's fucking quality. It's not very long. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. It's fucking quality. It's fucking quality, bloke. You watch that and you'll be like me. Wow. Well, you've probably watched anime films before, but you'd be like me. This was me. This is what it's all like. Then I was cruelly found out that it wasn't. It is not. Like. No, but it's like fucking quality. That is holy shit.
The other thing,
it's really good. Dude, watch it now.
Now, wait, hang on. The last thing is that Five Nights at Freddy's refuses to die, and for some reason they're making an RPG.
Well, it's
Five Nights at Freddy. Freddy's
we
RPG.
Can make a game, and every shit-stained YouTuber with billions and billions of subs who makes
game
videos.
I understand that bit. It's the RPG bit I don't get.
I know, I'm just getting aggressive.
Why not just make another Five Nights at Freddy, like 18 or whatever?
Have you seen these games, bloke? They're shit.
They really are.
The people who think those games are scary think fucking Until Dawn is Game of the Year.
I watched a PewDiePie video the other day. Because it was the one where he played the latest Five Nights at Freddy's. And it was literally watching a man who had actually had enough. Like, you know how in all the videos that he does for scary games, he's like jumping about, he's like, oh my god, and then of course he makes a rape joke and everyone gets offended because it's PewDiePie, and yeah, whatever.
He'll do that.
I assume so. I wouldn't know. I don't actually watch his content, but in this video, it was a case of he was playing it. The jump scares happened, which are all exactly the same from one game to the next. It's not changed in any way whatsoever. And he's so used to it now, and he gives so few fucks that he just sat there in the video, and like a jump scare had happened, and he just looked at the camera and went... And that was the video for like 5 minutes. And I was like, I don't like his content normally. I can get behind this. Like, actually reacting in the way that you would actually react if you'd played all the Five Nights at Freddy games where you're on, like,
ladies
the 18th,
and gentlemen,
19th
this may come as a shock to you, but PewDiePie is an act. He's not like that.
Yeah.
But that is an act.
Yeah.
I maybe really like shock to some of you people.
I really liked the fact, though, that he just dropped the act and he was like, this is not a scary game. It's not made me jump anymore. I don't care. It's totally shit. I'm not playing it again. And then everyone was like, oh, he's faking it. No, for once, he's not actually faking it. He was faking it before. This time, he's just going, no, not interested. So, another Five Nights at Freddy's, because apparently they just can't stop making money or selling it to 12-year-olds, because that is the target market. No offense to all the people who make videos on it.
You made me go to PewDiePie's channel. I did, and he's done a video on bloody the game I did a video on. So his video got 3.1 million views.
That's not very helpful. Which game?
No, the horror game.
Layers of Fear.
Yeah. Did I say I've been awake for like a day?
I'm assuming he found it terrifying. I can't even tell what he... Oh, okay, I see. Can you handle these scares, Layers of Fear? I'm guessing probably.
No, he's done multiple videos then, because there's some like super scary... Check this out, yo.
Can someone explain to me what all of the videos on his channel are? Hamburger. I got covered in blood. Jesus Christ on a bike. What is that? I'm in Japan for a day. Electrifying senpai. I got kidnapped. How to get noticed by senpai. Warning, this game is twisted. I'm on a gossip website. Click on boobs. Get confused. The weirdest pizza.
Yeah, but you know what this is? This is BuzzFeed titles, because he's that size. Where you just write something random in, like, face.
I don't know what.
Jest.
Are these are any of these games actually. Are any of these videos about games? I can't tell. Beethoven Simulator. What?
Yeah, but PewDiePie is like. Whatever. We're not talking about PewDiePie. Fuck him. So, yeah, ladies. Well, I mean, he might be a nice guy, you know.
By all accounts, he's quite nice, but I'm still going to watch his videos because they're shit.
What was the point anyway? How did we get onto him?
It was Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
they're making a new game. He played.
There'll be loads of them.
He was bored.
Yeah, but that's an interesting thing, because if he's bored now, then that's gonna screw their potential free advertisement.
No. Well, look at all the other people who play it, like fucking Markiplier and all that.
I know.
But
if it's starting to affect them, I know. But the thing is, they're gonna still keep making videos on it, because they keep making videos of fucking Happy Wheels and all that shit.
Yeah, I don't think it'll have that much of an impact.
When I see those channels throw that fucking Happy Wheels stuff out, like Jacksepticeye and all that stuff, I look at it and I'm like, I get why people watch it, or the type of people that watch that type of stuff. But then I also know that the people making the videos are so like they really don't want to do that, but they make so much money doing it that they'll just keep doing it, and it creates this little ecosystem of endless shit content over and over again on some shit flash game over and over again. Like Five Nights at Freddy's is the same.
For some reason, Markiplier, I only saw this earlier, tweeted not that long ago, and it was a really bizarre tweet, which I'm assuming is not a piss take, although it could well be. And it simply says, something very serious has happened. I won't be able to make videos for quite a while. And then his editor tweeted and said something horrendous has happened.
Editor.
I don't know what to do. I am heartbroken. So God knows what's going on there. But one of them released a statement that basically said, please don't speculate. Sorry, but if you're going to do a tweet and say something serious has happened, no videos for a while, but not tell people what it is, you cannot then ask them not to speculate, because they're going to wonder what the fuck is going on. You're better off not tweeting at all. Just a thought. Thought for the day. Don't leave vague statements on social media. Just
maybe it's to drum up some sort of shit, although I can't see that, because that type of channel is very much like a... I want to call them PG channels. They're channels that do things like
Markiplier,
cheesy,
for all that I don't like his content, he's never struck me as that kind of person anyway. He's at least quite
I don't know what he's like.
Honest about what he does by the look of things.
Is he?
So
the thing is you better know, could we be getting conned? Maybe he's an asswipe. Who knows? Yeah. Who fucking knows?
Who knows?
And I mean, if...
All I know is I'm going to go
one
watch
thing,
Ghost
ladies
in
and
the Shell.
gentlemen. Yeah, all you can go away from this is Unit Lost, Stylosa and Kirioth. This is how we are, and we cannot fake that. This is us, and I'm pointing at the camera, so I'm angry. But you can tell when somebody is playing a game and putting on an image, okay? Like, I spoke to people, and they've said things like, people will come up to them at trade shows, and I'll be like, wow, you're nothing like you are on YouTube. And they're like, well, yes, because on YouTube, I'm acting. And they're like, oh my God, they can't believe it. It's like, but I thought that's how you were.
I can't be asked to act, so this is what I'm like all the time.
Fuck you then. Oh my God. How long have I been awake now?
Too long.
Too long.
Too long. Right.
I've had a contact lens in. I'm like getting McGee eye.
It's going to end up coming out of your ear if you're not careful. That is the end of Hotfix, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you tune in at 2 PM BST on Saturday for Pubcast. If in the meantime you would like to support us via Patreon, once again, the linky is there. The linky is there. And of course, if no one pledges between now and next Thursday, the show is cancelled. And hopefully Stylosa might be alive to record Pubcast tomorrow, because we're not doing it tonight. We usually record both of them on the same midnight day, but we're not doing that now because no. And I've no idea what time this video is going to go live at all. When the hell is it going to pop up this? What, at 3 AM? Enjoy your 3 AM video, people living in Europe. We'll see you next time. Toodaloo.